and in the early hours of the morning, it is easy to see why. Under the cover of night, the triathletes begin to arrive. Some of the first, the professionals. Here in force, the Americans, including Tim O'Donnell, the reigning world long course champion, back looking for another win at Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary. Tenille Hoogland is part of a strong Canadian team looking for this country's first ever title in Calgary, male or female. Ironman 70.3 Calgary. Mario Friesen's road to triathlon competitor is shared by many. The stress of school, followed by a demanding career, one child turned into two. There was work, there was family life, yet there was something missing.
Oh, it's changed my life totally. I'm much healthier now, and that extra health has made me a better father, a better husband. It's made me a better contributor at work. I have more energy, I think more clearly. It's totally changed who I am and what I'm about.
And then there's North Vancouver's Omid Manucheri, who was closing in on 400 pounds just a couple of years ago. Then he was diagnosed with cancer as well, and that's when everything had to change.
It's never too late. It's never too late. I mean, I hear a lot of people say that, you know, I can't run because this reason and that reason, I can't bike. I mean, you know, you don't have to just do triathlons. There's so many different things you can get out there and do.
For Maury Ripley, well, it's truly an incredible story that he is even here. You see, 12 years ago, he drove into a moose, breaking his neck, went into a coma. Doctors said he would never wake up. However, Ripley did.
Every day when I say ouch and I just think, you know, man, I hurt, I think of my doctor saying, oh, you know, keep your dreams realistic, but you know what they are. Doctors generalize on what people can do, but the power of the mind is unbelievable.
Ironman, it is a place where dreams do come true. The professionals will be the first group to get underway. For them, this will be about 4 hours worth of racing. The start of a long day is now just moments away. And so it begins. Nearly 2 kilometers of swimming, 90K on the bike, and finally 21.1 kilometers on the run. The athletes will settle into their pace eventually. Early though, it's all out as athletes look to establish a position. The Americans, Brian Fleischman, Tim O'Donnell, are the ones setting the pace in the men's race. For the women, Tenille Hoogland, a former competitive synchronized swimmer, has quickly moved into the lead. The other women, no match for this Canadian in the water.
Oh, I love the swim. Because I come from a swimming background, the harder the better, the more waves, the colder, the whatever kind of elements you can throw at a swim, I love it just because I feel so comfortable in the water. I usually have the confidence just to go out hard and know that I can maintain it. I'm quite aggressive in it and want to come out first.
And clearly that plan is coming to fruition. Tenille Hoogland continues to build on her lead. In second, Victoria's Sarah Gross, already a minute behind. For the other women, well, their deficit is even more. Back at the start line, the day finally getting underway for the amateurs. First-time Ironman 70.3 athletes, they're the first to go. A few minutes later, the other wave starts, hitting the waters of Ghost Lake. And as the amateurs head into the water, the pros are heading out. Their swim coming to an end, yet it is really just the beginning of this race. Up next, it's the bike, a point-to-point course, starting near Cochrane, ending out on the edge of Calgary, 90 kilometers total. The first to head out, the reigning world long course champion, Tim O'Donnell. However, there is a large group that's right behind.
Yeah, there's always a target on your back when you're kind of one of the, either the guy that's won, on this course before, or just a name that's well known in the sport. And that's something that I'm learning as I'm kind of going up in the ranks. it's a little different for me now to kind of have, you know, the spotlight on me and how I do. So hopefully it still goes well.
There are changes behind O'Donnell. American Brian Fleischmann moving past O'Halloran and into second place. However, Fleischmann's not the only one on the move. New Zealand's Graham O'Grady, he is now third.
The one guy nobody seems to be talking about is Graham O'Grady. And Graham beat me 2 weeks ago at Vineman 70.3, and he won the half Ironman distance race, Rev 3 Portland. So, you know, I had a swim coach that always told me you're only as good as your last race, and according to our last race, Graham is better than I am, so I keep that in my mind.
O'Grady with yet another pass. Fleischmann is now the latest victim. So now only one man remains ahead of him, Tim O'Donnell. Victoria's Tenille Hoogland will make her way out onto the bike with a commanding lead, just over 2 minutes ahead of Sarah Gross. Gross was able to stay that close because of drafting with the pack. If she hadn't done that, the deficit would have been even greater. Changing from the swim discipline to the bike can be a challenge, but that is where we're heading when we come back to the Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary.
Much of our food begins with a seed. With the right varieties, superior nutrients, and crop inputs, bountiful harvests are produced. Viterra, Canada's leading agribusiness, works with its customers to deliver essential ingredients to over 50 countries around the world. Our high-quality products become the foods that nourish people, giving them the energy to live healthy lifestyles and strive for excellence. Viterra, essential ingredients, global success.
Here, kitty. Here, kitty. Oh, this comes snuggles with Mama.
Missing something? Like 2 pairs of glasses for $199.99 at Sears Optical, including progressive lenses. Sears Optical. Don't miss a thing.
Grab your friends for one last bite of summer.
What is this, some kind of sick game?
Shark Night 3D starts Friday.
Hey, Sydney, I've got some great names for your new Reebok collection. Signature. Huh?
Signature. Maybe.
Next one, no problem. The Cross by Crosby.
Not sure about that one.
Okay, how about this?
This?
It's Sid backwards, man.
Why don't we just go with SC87?
I like it. I like it.
Reebok SC87 hockey and athletic gear. Only at Sport Check.
Canada versus Dominican Republic, tomorrow at 5 on TSN2.
The Subaru Canadian Endurance presentation of the 2011 Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary is brought to you by Viterra, by Subaru Centaur Calgary, by Power Bar, and by Timex.
I've heard that people say that the bike course is easy because there's a little bit of a net loss in terms of elevation from the point-to-point ride, but I remember in 2009 and definitely didn't feel that way on the bike. There's a nice little false flat on the way out so you can find your legs at the beginning of the bike, and then you go into a pretty challenging 15K, just you know, gradual climb. It's not steep, but it just gets that nice burn going in your legs and lets you know that you know, you're in the middle of a hard race.
The story to this point, American Tim O'Donnell. What was a mere seconds to begin the bike is now 2 minutes and counting. However, the pursuit continues. Graham O'Grady and Brian Fleischmann have stayed together the entire ride. The Kiwi is now out in front, the pair pushing each other, trying to stay within reach and trying to hold off the expected charge from behind. American Jordan Rapp was well back after the swim, but the former Subaru Ironman Canada champion is counted among the very best triathlon cyclists in the world today. And Canada's Tom Evans knows he's coming. Like Rapp, he too has won the Subaru Ironman Canada. It's part of an impressive resume. The 44-year-old is an icon to Canadian triathletes. Rapp will move by Evans and into fourth as he continues to move up here at Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary. Canada's Tenille Hoogland continues to lead for the women, and she's been in this position right from the start. Her 2-minute advantage out of the water is now 5 minutes, and there are no other women within sight.
In training, it is, you are alone, and a lot of the time, and you do have to have an incredible amount of motivation and determination to get through those spots.
Still in second place, BC's Sarah Gross. Back after the birth of her first child, the long-distance veteran knows the importance of patience and experience.
There's a lot of racing going on, 70.3 level, you know, so I don't race with a power meter or anything like that or a Garmin. I just like to race the race. So who's there, make adjustments according to, you know, if someone's coming, if I'm coming up to someone or if someone's passing me, so I can really race against the other girls as opposed to just looking at a number and thinking that's the best I can do.
Gross really is having a solid race, but the reality is that she continues to lose time to the leader, and she's also being tracked down. American Mackenzie Madison has slowly taken back time, and so well into the bike, she now has Gross within her sights. In fourth, Daniel Kabush, the Calgary athlete, best known for her off-road Xterra racing. And in fifth place, Jenny Fletcher. It's a new career, sort of. The Canadian now into her second year as a pro. However, she remains very active with her modeling career, and staying busy has always been the norm.
Randomly, when I was younger, I did a sport called modern pentathlon. So there's swimming, fencing, shooting, running, and horse jumping. And it's always been my thing to be in multi-sports. I stopped for a while, a long time actually, and was just modeling, and then I decided to bring back the sports into my life at a competitive level. So got a bike and signed up for a race and loved it, and then from there it's been nonstop.
Right now, however, no one is able to stop Tenille Hoogland. She took the lead right at the start. Out onto the bike, her advantage over the other women continues to grow. Similar scenario with the men. Tim O'Donnell building his lead on the bike as well. Now, since winning here a couple of years ago, O'Donnell really has been among the top long course triathletes in the world. Early on, it appears that he has brought his A game. Bad news for the men in pursuit. Brian Fleischman, Graham O'Grady continue to exchange positions. Fleischman, the latest to take over second.
I am constantly assessing how I'm feeling. You know, can I go faster? Can I hold this for another 30 miles? You know, do I have to back off in order to finish? Am I drinking? Am I eating? Long course world champions here, so there's no room for slipping up.
However, the reality, the world champion is now out of sight. His advantage, 3 minutes. In fourth place, Jordan Rapp. Now, early into the bike, he was able to track down some of the others, but he can't do it anymore. Rapp is considered to be one of the world's very best on a bike, but when you take into account what he's been through recently, you realize just how incredible his performance truly is. You see, back on March 23rd of 2010, during a training ride in California, Rapp was hit by a car and left to die on the side of the road. It has been a long and difficult road back to racing. A former Subaru Ironman Canada champion is now proving what an Ironman truly is.
Much of our food begins with a seed. With the right varieties, superior nutrients, and crop inputs, bountiful harvests are produced. Viterra, Canada's leading agribusiness, works with its customers to deliver essential ingredients to over 50 countries around the world. Our high-quality products become the foods that nourish people, giving them the energy to live healthy lifestyles and strive for excellence. Viterra, essential ingredients, global success.
Since 2003, Cervelo engineers have been testing with Pro Tour riders like Tom Danielson and Dave Zabriskie, helping to make the new S5 the world's fastest, most aerodynamic road bike.
Aerodynamically, if you're saving a couple watts per kilometer, that adds up over the entire day to a lot.
I think everybody will have an amazing experience on this bike and be able to smoke their buddies for sure.
During the back-to-school season, every time you load a Subway card of $25 or more, you'll get a regular 6-inch sandwich of your choice absolutely free right in store. Load this, get that. Make back-to-school easier with the Subway card. Subway. Think fresh, eat fresh.
What is strong? Saucony.
Labor Day weekend. Thunder in Atlanta. NASCAR Nationwide Series, Great Clips 300, Saturday on TSN2. And Sunday on TSN. Sprint Cup Series. Hammer time, with only 2 races before the start of the chase. Advocare 500 at 7. Speed Weekend starts Saturday at 7 on TSN2.
Welcome back to Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary, here on Subaru Canadian Endurance. Many of the amateurs now out on their 90-kilometer ride. Others, though, are just beginning. For Maury Ripley, there is still a very long way to go, but then again, he has already come so far. You see, after his accident, he was told by doctors he can't walk, and he won't ever.
2 words that never should be used in one sentence together, I can't. You know what, you may not finish in a record time, but to say you can finish is one thing, and no one can take that away from you.
Omid Manucheri continues to work away well. Hard to believe, from 400 pounds to doing a half Ironman in just a couple of years. It's an incredible story. With the Rocky Mountains now as a backdrop, the amateurs will cover the 90K ride back towards Calgary, where they still have to tackle the half marathon. For the pro men, the story continues to be American Tim O'Donnell. With the bike discipline coming to a close, he has opened up now a lead of more than 4 minutes. Fellow American Brian Fleischmann once again moving past New Zealand's Graham O'Grady. It's a scenario that these 2 men have been playing out over the entire 90-kilometer ride. One moves into second place, only to see it reversed a few minutes later. And once again, they exchange positions. O'Donnell has changed disciplines now with ease. Everything is going to plan for him at this stage. Graham O'Grady is second off the bike. His deficit to O'Donnell, 4 minutes, 17 seconds. Third, Brian Fleischmann. The end of his bike, though, did not go very well. He has given up 40 seconds to O'Grady. To the leader, well, that's now over 5 minutes. And that deficit of 5 minutes to the reigning long course world champion may be just too much to overcome. O'Grady continues in second. But guess who's coming to join him? You bet. Brian Fleischmann, quickly finding his running legs and early into the 21.1K run. And the American has once again overtaken the Kiwi, and O'Grady looks to have no answer this time. More concerns behind. Jordan Rapp working away on the run as well. And like Fleischmann, he is moving quicker than O'Grady. Tenille Hoogland may be a little disappointed that the bike is over. She has completely dominated the women's field so far, on her way out to a commanding lead. And the first to take up the chase on the run will be Oregon's Mackenzie Madison. However, she trails now by 8 minutes and 35 seconds. And right there with the American, Sarah Gross, but she is 9 minutes back of Hoogland. Meanwhile, American Tim O'Donnell continues to dominate the men's event. The champion in 2009 had to miss last year, but he has picked up right where he left off. His advantage now, 6 minutes. However, things are far from clear in the battle for second. Last year's runner-up, Brian Fleischmann, is once again second, but it is anything but secure. You see, New Zealand's Graham O'Grady is only 30 seconds back. However, the biggest challenge could come from the man in fourth place. Jordan Rapp is now just 40 seconds back, and he is charging. And there are changes with the women, too. Canadian Sarah Gross has taken over second place, dropping Mackenzie Madison. It's all coming to a quick close here at Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary on TSN.
Since 2003, Cervelo engineers have been testing with Pro Tour riders like Tom Danielson and Dave Zabriskie, helping to make the new S5 the world's fastest, most aerodynamic road bike.
Aerodynamically, if you're saving a couple watts per kilometer, that adds up over the entire day to a lot.
I think everybody will have an amazing experience on this bike and be able to smoke their buddies for sure.
My dear dealer, we've had some good times, haven't we? That first test drive? We'll always have that. But I need a change, an oil change. And you're just too clingy. So I found someone easier. He doesn't demand an appointment for warranty-approved service. His name? Mr. Lube. Please, no first names. Let's be mature about this. P.S. I only ever liked you for your car.
Ready for a change?
It has an HD webcam, killer audio, and lids that switch to start every semester fresh. But mostly, it helps me try new moves, on and off the court. Powered by the second-generation Intel Core i3 processor. Not just smart, visibly smart. Get this loaded Dell Inspiron 15R now for $549.99.
Episode 3 of The Extra Yard, Friday on TSN and TSN Mobile TV.
Welcome back to Subaru Canadian Endurance coverage of the Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary. You know what Canadian has never won here at Viterra Ironman 70.3? Tenille Hoogland, trying to become the first to do it. She used her two best disciplines, the swim and bike, to build a commanding lead, now with one discipline to go.
On the run, I have been learning a lot more about my running, learning about pacing. I've made a few mistakes in the past of thinking it's a 10K race, but a half marathon is a lot longer. So I will be steady on my run, but I also I'm definitely going to go for it.
But going for it may be a problem for Hoogland. Look at this, struggling a bit, turning down the chance for some fluids, and more importantly, her 8-minute lead is now down to just 3. And a couple of women are coming. Sarah Gross in second. Mackenzie Madison is back in contention in third. But Gross, for her strength is the run.
For me, I'm not someone who typically will go too hard. So I can go out as hard as I want and just keep going hard all day and see if I can hold it. That's usually my very simple race plan. But I don't tend to blow up, touch wood.
It is hard to believe you're out here 4.5 hours. You swim, you bike, you run, but it's the smallest of things that can decide a race.
Nailing down transitions, making sure, you don't, you take every corner, it's all the little details that you have to watch out for, and just making sure that your cadence is, even so that you can set yourself up for a good run. It's just nailing each and every discipline.
And now well into the run, it is looking more and more like it could come down to that very last kilometer. A win hanging in the balance for the women, but not the case for the men. The long course world champion among the favorites when they go to the Ironman Worlds, and he is now the 2011 Viterra Ironman 70.3 champion, American Tim O'Donnell, with his second title in 2 tries, a dominating performance.
I'm ecstatic to come back here and get another victory. Unfortunately, I couldn't come last year with Long Course Worlds, but to be able to come back and put my stamp on this race again, it's a great feeling.
Your second place here today.
In the battle for second place, it's going to go to Jordan Rapp. He put down the best run of anyone, going from 4th to 2nd. Jordan Rapp with a sub 1:18 run to take the runner-up honors. And Brian Fleischman, who hoped to improve on his second place a year ago, well, he'll drop a spot and finishes in 3rd. So it is a sweep of the podium for the American men. Timothy O'Donnell in a time of 3 hours, 56:24, taking the win, followed by Rapp, Fleischman, New Zealand's Graham O'Grady, and the Canadian Trevor Wertel finishes 5th. Can this really be our women's leader? Yes, it is. A check of the watch. Tenille Hoogland. Almost down to a walk, checking over her shoulder, looking for this lady, Sarah Gross. Remember now, Hoogland led by 8:35 going into the run, had built the lead to almost 9 minutes over Gross out on the run. But here comes Gross. Hoogland can feel her. They're going to come down to the finishing chute. Final, digging for every little bit of energy she still has remaining. Here she comes, the Canadian, Tenille Hoogland, with everything she has left. Digging, digging, digging for the tape, and there it is, Tenille Hoogland. There is Sarah Gross, the win by just that much in their personal battle. Sarah Gross knew she was that close.
I had no idea she was so close until I could see her. People started giving me splits that she was close. Oh, but I had nothing left for the sprint.
And what about the story for 3rd place? Well, this is it. American Mackenzie Madison, the police officer, offering some help. But Madison will do this all on her own, and she will walk across the line to take 3rd place. And 4th place, within 26 seconds, but she couldn't get there fast enough, Canadian Danielle Kapush. The difference between Hoogland and Gross, just 6 seconds. Mackenzie Madison holds on in a walk for 3rd, followed by Kabush and Lisa Ribbs.
From Courtney, British Columbia, Tenille Hoogland.
The faces of agony are now filled with smiles. Tenille Hoogland becoming Canada's first ever champion here at Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary.
I honestly am so overwhelmed by that. It is such an honor to be there, in the top and to hold that forever. It's a beautiful thing. I'm so proud to be Canadian, and I'm so glad to race for Canada, and wow.
Wow indeed, and one of the most exciting finishes we've seen in some time. As the amateurs now working their way on the run here at Calgary Weaselhead Natural Environment Park, it represents the final of the 3 disciplines. The athletes will swim, bike, run 113 kilometers. And it's an endeavor that requires training and discipline. And the payoff comes right here. Maury Ripley's life changed in the blink of an eye 12 years ago. A collision with a moose almost cost him his life, and in the end, he believes it ultimately changed his life for the better. Triathlons and a healthy lifestyle are now part of who he is. And Omid Manucheri knows the feeling too. Just 2 years ago, he was 400 pounds, diagnosed with cancer. Something had to change, and it did. Now everything seems possible. It's been quite a day. Thank you for joining us. Subaru Canadian Endurance coverage of the Viterra Ironman 70.3 Calgary, here on Canada's Sports Leader, TSN.
Watch Canada's Sports Leader wherever you go. Catch Sunday Night Baseball and other big events right in the palm of your hand. TSN Mobile TV is now on Bell smartphones and tablets. For more info, go to tsn.ca/mobiletv. Rugby World Cup starts Friday, September 9th on TSN2.
It all began 5 weeks ago with our defending champion Melody Savage showing the consistency of a champion as she bowled a 203 to become our first semifinalist. Then in week 2 from London, Ontario, Jill Fries. What a balanced game. 9 strikes, 9 spares, 202, 203 to become our second qualifier. Then out of Estevan, Saskatchewan, Monique Belanger. She had 21 straight marks after her very first open frame at 209, 191. And then last week from Thunder Bay, Diana Nakanekni. She had 15 strikes, just the one open frame, and she had a highlight spare that we'll remember for a long time. And so there they are, the 4 women who will battle for the big money this week in women's 10-pin play. We welcome you back to the Canadian Bowling Championships here on TSN from the Silver Dollar Action Centre in Calgary. Hello again, Canada. Frank Sisson alongside. And when you look at those 4 women and their games in particular, what do they all have in common?
One thing is consistency. Absolutely. And they don't get flustered.
No, and if they do get themselves into trouble, they're able to right the ship, right? It's terrific. So, in fact, if they have an open and it's all about getting something going, building some count, all 4 were able to do it.
And, you know, if they do have that open, they forget about it. And that's the whole idea. If you can just ignore that and carry on, keep the pressure up, not on yourself. What you want to do is make the opponent think about it a little bit. They're going to have lots to think about here because there's $10,000 up for money.
That's it. It's all about the money now. The big money is on the line. If you should lose in the semifinal, you'll take home $2,000. If you win it all, of course, it's $10,000 that goes to the winner of women's 10-pin play, the Canadian Bowling Championships on TSN.
What's up, Smart?
Oh, just booked a summer vacay.
Ooh, sounds pricey.
Nah, with the Hotels.com summer sale, you can find awesome deals for places nearby.
Interesting. Wow, I'm blown away.
You look great.
Hotels.com summer sale. Save up to 30% and get a free gas card. Hotels.com. Be smart, book smart.
Casa de Mama. It's thin base, the rising crispy edge, like Mama used to make. How she carefully prepared a special dough with zesty tomato sauce, mouth-watering meats, and fresh-tasting garden vegetables.
Stop dreaming, boy. Eat your pizza.
Casa de Mama frozen pizza.